Many environmental toxins cause hormonal disruption, insomnia, fatigue, mood swings, headaches, weight gain, brain fog, and more. Cleaning up your environment is essential if you want healthy, balanced hormones. You're listening to Menopause Natural Solutions, episode 118, Environmental Toxicity and Hormonal Health. Welcome to Menopause Natural Solutions, your podcast for all things perimenopause, menopause and beyond. Stay tuned as your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, explains how to use natural therapies to find your ultimate health and happiness during your transition. Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, Jen, and today we're going to be talking about environmental health. Back in episode 116, Tips for an Easier Transition into Menopause, I mentioned 7 common factors that can contribute to either an easier or a more difficult transition. These factors included the role of your diet, your environment, lifestyle habits, nutritional deficiencies, stress levels, digestive health, and your general health. Last episode, we focused on the role of your diet. If you missed either of these episodes, can I encourage you to go back and check them out? Today, we are focusing on the role your environment plays in your transition. The big troublemakers here are mould, chemicals, and toxic metals. Here in Australia, we have been experiencing extreme rainfall and flooding. With all of this moisture comes mould and mycotoxins produced by mould. Mycotoxins are what makes you sick. Most people think mould sickness is a respiratory issue with coughing, sinus problems, itchy eyes, nosebleeds, headaches, but it can be so much more than that. Common signs of mould sickness include hormonal imbalance, night sweats, temperature regulation issues, brain fog, irritable moods, fatigue, joint pain, increased urination, and the list goes on. One of the most prevalent mycotoxins is called zearalenone, or ZEA for short. ZEA is a mycoestrogen, a fungal-based estrogen. You might also have heard it called a xenoestrogen. Not only does it play havoc with your hormones, it also plays a role in the development of hormonal cancers, such as breast and cervical cancer. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to be vigilant in monitoring and removing mold from your home, your car, your office. But mold can also be in our food supply. Anything stored like grains, nuts, beans, dried fruits, coffee can harbor these dangerous mycotoxins. The next troublemaker I want to discuss today is chemicals. Every day we are being exposed to hundreds, if not thousands, of different chemicals. These can be found in our foods, cleaning products, personal care products, our clothing, our hobbies, workplace, even our own backyard. Please don't feel overwhelmed by the task of identifying and removing them. Make a start. And one of the simplest places to start is with the removal of plastic. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. But when you're ready, can I highly recommend you look at my Healthy Homes for Healthy Hormones program. I co-created this with building biologist Joanne Leah. Together, we help you identify hormone disruptive chemicals and other toxins and show you a cleaner, healthier way. But for now, let's chat plastics. You may have heard of BPA. BPA is just one example of a hormone disruptive chemical found in plastic. It was originally developed as a synthetic estrogen back in the 1930s. Later it was discovered it could be added to plastic to make it more stable. The problem is it can leach out of plastics, and this is enhanced if it's exposed to heat, acidity or oil. Just think about a plastic water bottle sitting in your car on a hot day, leaching this synthetic estrogen into the water you are drinking. do yourself a favor and ditch the plastic. There are so many easy to find alternatives, and please don't be fooled by BPA-free plastic alternatives. Go for glass or stainless steel. The final toxin I want to mention are metals. Think substances like aluminium, arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, uranium. These are all really nasty poisons that can cause so much damage, not just to your hormonal system, but to your entire body. If we focus on metals and hormones, there are many different ways these toxic substances create havoc. They can accumulate in the glands that produce your hormones and prevent optimal creation of these hormones in the first place. They can block receptor sites from accepting the hormone. They can mimic the hormone and cause issues with feedback loop signaling. And they can damage enzymes needed to create hormones or convert them from another form. Let's touch on cadmium. Most cadmium exposure is from cigarette smoke and air pollution. It can promote an earlier and more intense menopausal transition by blocking estrogen receptors. It can mimic estrogen and reduce the feedback loop designed to tell your body to increase your estrogen production. It damages the enzymes needed to convert androgens into estrogens. It's truly a nasty metal that is also linked with estrogen-related cancers such as breast cancer. But that's not all. Cadmium has also been found to reduce your production of progesterone. If any of this feels like it could be an issue for you, I have 2 suggestions for you. One is to do my Healthy Homes for Healthy Hormones program, or the other is to book a consultation so we can discuss different testing options to rule in or out these possibilities. With testing, we can look at mycotoxin testing for mould exposure. We can look at a HTMA or a hair mineral test to look for heavy metals. And we can look at a GPL tox, which looks at 172 different chemicals that are really problematic in our environment. And if you want to do any of these tests, you do actually need to be a patient so that I can prescribe them for you. But anyway, I'll put all the links in the show notes, so if you are interested, you'll have all that information on hand. But until next time, bye for now. Thank you for listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This podcast contains general information about menopause. It is provided as a guide, and it is not intended to replace medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend.